Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Donald Trump coming out today on Truth Social and calling for the Department of Commerce to conduct a new census, a mid-decade census for the United States. Now, for those who don't know what a census is, every 10 years, the government basically gets a head count of Americans. They are able to, ask a lot of questions, basically understand who lives where by ethnicity, age, etc., you name it, and get an accurate head count. Now, during COVID, this was a little bit hard to do. I remember filling out the census. It was like an online thing. They didn't go door to door. Usually they'll do like both because they have to make sure, they have to take precaution. They didn't really take precaution. And what this did was it allowed for a census to be conducted that was not ideal, which made sure that certain states got different population totals than what they really probably had. Certain electoral votes that would have gone to red states went to blue states. And Donald Trump is going out there saying, yes, we need an accurate census. Now, let's be clear here. The census will not be fully binding. So if we get a mid-decade census, which we possibly could do, you're not going to have, per the Constitution, an updated electoral map for 2028. The 2028 map is going to be the same as the 2024 map, which I'm fine with because it's still very beneficial to Republicans, especially the way that the nation is moving. But we would like to really understand what is out there. How many congressional districts can Republicans justify drawing before the midterms if we get an accurate head count? Understands a little bit of a different ballgame. We'll also show the 2030s map and talk about the illegal aliens and how they possibly are being counted in censuses. Well, they actually are. And is that really constitutional when you have an originalist interpretation of the Constitution? We'll dive into it, but first, really quickly, got to tell you guys about our good friends over at the Wellness Company. Have you ever checked the ingredients in your toothpaste? Because most toothpastes on the market are filled with harsh chemicals and additives like triclosan, sulfates, and titanium dioxide, which can pose risks with long-term use. You use them every day hoping for a healthier smile, but end up with irritated gums, sensitive teeth, and sketchy chemicals. So it's time to swap the chemicals out for peptides. Introducing Smile Peptide Toothpaste from the Wellness Company, a breakthrough peptide paste designed to help reverse gum loss through mouth regeneration. Formulated with active peptides to support gum regrowth, nanohydroxyapatite to strengthen while remineralizing teeth, and Pat Plus to gently whiten without sensitivity, Smile helps you build a truly healthy mouth while staying fluoride-free. Ready to make the switch? Well, you can get 10% off plus free shipping if you go to twc.health/RedEagle and use code RedEagle at checkout. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow. All right, guys, so Donald Trump calling for a new census based on what he calls modern-day facts and figures and using the results and information gained from the presidential election of 2024, because you can kind of tell certain areas, certain House districts had a little bit more people voting in them than others, and obviously turnout's going to vary in different parts of the country. We understand that, but sometimes the disparity was just a little bit too much to kind of call 100% accurate when you look at the census. So regardless, the census in 2020, not the best census, and that we know. Trump also wants a citizenship question, where a lot of people will say the Constitution does not explicitly say that, even though it does outline the census being every 10 years. So how would that work in the census? Well, either way, I think it's important, because what it would do is it would make sure that the people that are able to vote, which are Americans, people that are citizens, those people would be counted, and people who are not would not be. That was not what the Founding Fathers wanted when they wrote the Constitution. So if we're to interpret the Constitution as written, we are to interpret it as the fact that they didn't really care about illegal aliens having representation. They were not able to vote back then. They're not able to vote now. This was specifically written for us to kind of gauge how many people lived in a certain place. Voters, how would they exactly be represented? You name it. That's really what it would come down to. So Donald Trump is going out there and mentioning that. And it's like true, because California, the illegals there are probably willing to answer a census because they're basically protected by the state to stay there. Many of them are on government benefits within the state of California. A lot of Democrats will pretend that's not true. We had that whole argument about, are illegals really on Medicaid? Yes, they are. Obviously, it's state level Medicaid funding. The big beautiful bill wanted to, and to a certain extent did kind of have these carve outs to make sure that they would be able to prevent coverage from happening in those states, you name it. But still, it's like you look at the apportionment forecast already, and this doesn't even take that into account, because it is true California, maybe New York, a couple other states have an extra congressional district or two because they have an illegal alien population that gets counted. That's not the main problem. The other problem is the census is just a big, massive disaster that we currently have from 2020. And when you look at the 2030 forecast, based on the current population estimates, red states are about to gain 1, 2, 3, 4. In addition to those 3, that'd be 7, and then another 4 in Florida. That would be 11 electoral votes that they would gain. Meanwhile, Democrats would lose those 11. And technically, you have a swing state in Wisconsin that's on track to lose 1, a swing state in Pennsylvania that's on track to lose 1. But still, Republicans wouldn't even need to win either of those states. They would need to just win the Sun Belt swing states, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. If they get those, they're at 270 and then some. But still, obviously, Georgia's kind of moving a little bit to the left. Maybe Pennsylvania, it's moving to the right. You get Pennsylvania. It still has more electoral votes than the state of Georgia. So you're seeing what's going on here with the census, with the miscount, and Democrat states are losing electoral votes to red states, and some of that is because of just general trends, but some of it was because of a bad census. So when you look at Texas and Florida getting more electoral votes, that should tell you something. And does it also justify a redraw? That's another question, because we understand Texas is trying to redraw their congressional map, making it more favorable to Republicans to counteract states like Illinois, New York, Maryland, Connecticut, California, Oregon, New Mexico. You can go on and on and on. The blue states with ridiculously gerrymandered maps. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do it. Florida might do the same thing. Ohio is going to try to redraw the map as well in the state because they couldn't get the map that they wanted back in the day, back in 2022 or before 2022. And it makes sense to redraw. 100% it does. And a redraw is justified for numerous reasons. The fact that Democrats gerrymander more at this point, yes, that is one of the reasons. Another reason just being that we believe in our ideas and we want to advance them by any means necessary, and it's constitutional. Whether people think it's fair or not, it's really besides the point. If this is one of the issues where Democrats want to fall on the principle like they've done in so many state constitutions, be my guest. Either way, we understand that California's map, even though they have an independent commission, gives Democrats roughly 80-some% of the seats in a state where they only won 58% of the vote. But the census miscount, I think, is the number one argument for why Republicans should be able to redraw, because there were so many errors in the last census. And when you have these errors in the census, that means that people are not accurately being represented, and that Republicans need to go out there and make sure that they're going to be able to have such representation at the end of the day. So redrawing is indeed more than justified. Is there going to be a new census? We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be expensive, may not be feasible, might as well wait until 2030. But in the meantime, if we're not able to get a new census, I think that this needs to be talked about more, because Democrats are losing their mind at the idea of Texas redrawing the map or Florida redrawing the map. And it's like a lot of these gains are already baked into the cake. You had a really, really bad census, and it really disproportionately benefited the Democrats. I wonder why that happened to be the case. But still, Either way, make sure you can redraw, make up for it, and then in 2030 or 2032, before the new House maps come out, and at that point, Democrats may not win the House for another 10 years, depending on what happens. You can go from there. But until then, yes, you had a census that was poorly conducted. Trump wants to do another one. Not sure he's going to be able to. It's not going to be binding until the 2030s, even if he is able to do one. But still, all this talk about the redraws, when you look at the census and you understand how badly it was conducted, it becomes more than necessary to at least mitigate it with a redraw. So Texas and Florida doing the right thing. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.